If you can.
All right, this is a test.
Test.
Hello. I guess we'll look at the camera for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Hello. We're Couch Tomatoes again.
Hey, we're back.
Or you're invited. I'm going to keep changing the name because the TISM tells me to. And then we're not going to talk about movies this time. Or we are. We're going to talk about whatever because we miss doing this. And we want to see if our fans are even still alive because it's been a few years.
Yeah.
This is episode one. I'm going to call it Fuck It. I'm going to call it the Fuck It Bucket. Episode one of the Fuck It Bucket. We're just swearing instantly, and now we're demonetized, which is just par for the course, just like it was before.
Sure. Instantly demonetized. Fantastic.
I've been judged for drinking Shiner. They said it was gay. Maybe it was just the people I hung out with. It just called certain things
I didn't think
gay.
you were hanging out with bad people. Sounds like.
I don't know. I feel like if you call things gay, I don't know. Maybe it like sets the tone. Like you don't give a shit. Or you're ignorant. It could be in a couple of things, I think.
Ignorance.
I think it's
one of those things that you learn as a kid, and then you just never correct yourself because no one corrects you.
Yeah.
And then finally you meet someone who will correct you, but you've done it for so long now, it's just like, well, I'm not going to learn a new thing. It's like, why? Just learn a new thing. It's not that hard.
So
It's a lot easier for you to stop saying gay than for other people to not be gay.
All right, so speaking of homosexuals.
Okay, we're starting off hot. That's good.
Yeah, well, I said.
I'm
drinking Shiner.
Why would we talk about anything
gay
else?
for drinking this.
That's dumb.
So now we're gonna pivot from the gay thing.
Okay.
To the reason I was always cool with the gay term, like, oh, this is gay, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It was almost like a unicorn or a leprechaun. It was this thing that doesn't exist because I never saw it. And back in the day, it wasn't even on television. People weren't even gay on television back in the 90s. Really?
Yeah, they were.
I remember when they were gay the first time. It was like Ellen Degeneres. It was like the late 90s. And she came out as gay, and everyone's like, whoa! And then to just really drive the point home, they just had to keep talking about the whole episode. They kind of like, I wonder if they were just trying to desensitize everyone. Like, hey, everyone, look, someone's gay. We're talking about it. It's not that big a deal because before back then, oftentimes if someone was gay, maybe you don't want them to be in the family anymore, or you want to hurt them.
The movie Philadelphia came out in like 1994 or 93.
No, I'm talking about sitcoms though.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch a lot of movies.
So like on television.
I watched sitcoms on network television, which is like the safest form of television. Yeah, at that point.
They didn't want to.
They want to rock the boat. They're trying to get people on.
It definitely has the vibe of like what people have now, where they're like, why do they have to put this in everybody's face? Why can't it just be entertainment? And I think that's what the 90s sitcoms were. But I think people started to realize is that there are huge swaths of the population that just are not represented at all. And not everyone identifies with a white guy.
I think it really just seems like the
straight white dude.
So like I understand like the reason.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, obviously this seems like it's a better way to think of things and blah blah.
Yeah.
But in terms of like that movement, I think that was like basically the Tumblr movement. I don't know if you remember.
Tumblr movement. What do you mean?
Yeah. So like I was hanging out with like 18-year-olds ish because I was in the military, and people that join the military are typically 18 years old or 20 or something around there, right? Yeah. So I typically would because I would hang out with people that join the military, they just joined. Yeah. And I would get to see what the culture is of that generation.
Okay.
So in that specific generation, I was friends with like 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Maybe it's because I'm immature or whatever, right? But I noticed Tumblr was a big thing, and Tumblr was like
a couple of years where Tumblr was like massive.
It was like. In my opinion, it was like kind of like the guiding
2010. It was like 2011, something like that.
It was like the guiding light of like opinions or like popular opinion, basically. Like, what is everyone kind of getting behind? That's the stuff that's blowing up on Tumblr because this is
like
before
what Twitter is now.
Yeah, this is before like obviously now like there's video clips for me at least. That's my algorithm. It's like a video clips for days, and that's what it gives me. But back then, I think like Tumblr was, which is crazy too, because like you just follow. It seems like it was so much more difficult, more work to like find a Tumblr page than follow. And you got like, I couldn't get into it because I was like, how do you guys even know what to follow? It was like way over my head. Yeah. But I do think that the Tumblr thing, I do think it like led people to being more, I mean, obviously there was that famous term social justice warrior, but obviously that could be called a myriad of things. You could say, well, people were just more aware of like the
the
different
more connected
people
you are in general,
or the groups of people.
the more connected you are with other people, the more you're going to become aware of things. The more things become socially accepted, and then that's why things like TV shows, like you said, is a representation on those shows is so important, because the only way things become accepted or normalized to the point where we're not even asking those questions anymore is by just having you be just having it be like there for you to be. Oh my, what's the word?
What's the word, folks?
Yeah, what's the word?
Talk to us. Leave a message in the comments.
That I'm forgetting in the comments that I can't seem to remember.
They're already typing.
Yeah, all two of the people are going to watch this video.
No, I think all of our friends are going to watch it again. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think they just wanted to watch us talk.
surprised.
I think they didn't watch it because we kept spoiling all the movies we were talking about.
That's true.
So they couldn't watch it. It was just dumb. It was stupid. It was a bad formula.
Yeah.
But we had fun doing it,
we did.
so I don't regret it.
What I was trying to say was that the more you get exposed to something, the more it becomes normalized, in the sense, the more you become comfortable with it. So like, there are...
Like that movie we watched together, Jojo Rabbit.
Oof. That was tough. It was very funny.
Not a lot of people have seen it because what's the demographic? Because it's a children's story.
It's a children's comedy about Hitler.
Yeah, it's a children's comedy about Hitler and death, and it's a very heartbreaking.
Very good movie. Like you said, who is
or it seems like it's supposed to be a kid's movie, but it's obviously not because of the subject matter. So it's this weird kind of like, it's a kid's movie, but not because it's an adult movie.
I mean,
because I feel like it hit me as an adult. If I watched that as a kid, I would be like, what the heck am I even watching? It'd just be left field, everything.
There were definitely themes in it that were complicated.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't anything in there that isn't important.
Yeah, but like there is a lot of stuff. I mean, like, the Holocaust, Hitler, all this stuff is like, very triggering subject matter. They're like, if you would watch this movie, maybe you can't watch it because, too much. It affected too many lives.
Most of the people that it would trigger are dead. So there's a statute of limitations.
No, hold on.
When you can make fun of things.
One time I made a joke.
Like, I'm pretty sure you can make fun of the Kennedy assassination now.
One time I was trying to make some comedic remarks about Hitler because, it doesn't really affect me too much. Obviously, in very poor taste to a Jewish person.
Oh, boy.
And they did not like that very much, but they were actually still alive. They weren't even there. They were like way not there. That was like way after that.
It's more than likely they were, like, the stories were told.
I don't know enough. Actually, I don't even know. Is it?
What?
I don't even know what to call like that group of people. Do you call them Jewish people? Is that offensive? Well, I just learned. Okay, there was this thing.
Jew is not offensive.
Well, there was this thing in the news. Check this out. It's crazy, right?
You're talking about Zionist?
Hear me out. There's this thing that happened recently in the news. What was it? I think it was like a military thing. That's right. It was a military thing. Doesn't matter. Somebody said something about Mormons, and then someone else was like, "Hey, we're not called Mormons." And then there was like an exchange that became a whole big thing. And the argument was, it's offensive to call them Mormons.
Why?
You have to call them followers of the
Church of Latter-day Saints.
Right. Or various like.
Since when?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's just that like, here's the thing that we were saying, just like we're talking about.
Fair.
Something that we were saying. We thought we were okay to say it. We all kind of agreed upon it. Oh wait, hold on a second. We can't say that anymore.
I see what I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So like, and then like black people, blacks, African Americans, that changes. Like you have the term you use has to change.
Yes.
Depending on the culture, sure. So like, I'm pretty sure someone at some point in my life was like, you can't say Jew, and I was like, I don't know what to say then, and I just kind of left it at that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you want to help people, but if you don't know what direction to go,
it's a two-way street. It really, to me, I play it by ear, person to person.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's all you can do.
If I know, like, I ask a person, hey, or you just don't bring it up. That's also a possibility. Like, if you meet a Jewish person for the first time, you don't go, so what do you guys like to be called?
Are you guys Jews?
Do you guys like to be called Jews, Jewish? Israelites. Like, what do you prefer?
It was funny actually. I noticed what
yeah.
I noticed what offended this person more than the Hitler stuff I was trying to like just kind of joke around about. Is I was asking her just about just Judaism in general, and that seemed to actually offend her more. And I was like, that's interesting. Well, because she wasn't like, she's not very religious.
Oh.
So I was like, interesting. So like, I'm just like trying to be curious.
So I've read up recently, been reading up on stuff like this about how there's religiously Jewish and then there's like culturally Jewish.
That's why it's just
so
once I learned about that, I was like, I don't know.
So there's like people who practice Judaism, like they practice the religion, and then there's people who like they're born into a Jewish family, so they're Jewish, culturally Jewish. They don't like go to temple. They don't do like they don't partake in the religious aspects of it. Their family is just Jewish, so they are Jewish. They're just culturally Jewish. Like they yeah. Anyway, you know, that's what YouTube loves, is a straight white man telling them how different cultures are and should be. So it's funny because I just feel like I'm like whatever the equivalent of mansplaining is for other cultures.
I like I don't think if you're in a certain group you should be treated differently, but I know sometimes people think like, hey, if you're a straight white male, for some reason that's like the trifecta of the worst kind of person.
It's not that you're the worst. No. It's not that you're the worst person. It's that you haven't had the same roadblocks put in your life as other people have.
Yeah.
You don't have a cultural, racial, sexual roadblock thrown in the way of your success that other people have.
But still, like, so from my perspective, right? So the challenges I've had in my life were never because of my race, I don't think, or my gender. Well, we'll just talk about my challenges because I don't know what my privileges are, because I'd have to compare my privileges versus other people, and how do you even do that, right?
It just takes, you
can assume, or you can hear a story and then maybe compare it, but at the same time, let's say you both have trauma.
It's like
therapists will tell you can't compare trauma.
You can't compare trauma.
You can't. You can't try to compare trauma. Trauma is trauma.
That is a
because
slippery
of
slope that causes a lot of things.
Because of that, maybe just simply trauma in general, maybe that's the biggest challenge. Because that's what I've noticed more than race and gender.
I'm not going to say there obviously is trauma involved in it, but there is also still an element of, certain people. I mean, until 2011, you couldn't be gay in the military. No,
you could.
You couldn't
talk about it.
You could be openly.
But then people knew you were.
Right, but if at any point in time they wanted to get rid of you, all they had to do was say, I am gay.
I knew a guy that was
gay.
I knew a guy that was gay. Everyone knew he was gay. The law changed. Everyone still knew he was gay, except for maybe like a couple more people, and it didn't change much.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, if at any point someone wanted to get rid of this person, saying that to someone else, and then like following through on it would have been all they would have had to do to get rid of that.
Or they could just take it back. Which still sucks, obviously.
Are
you actually gay? Well, no, I'm not. And you just have to lie.
That's awful. Having to lie about who you are is awful.
It's like lying on your resume. It's basically a requirement for the job. So, like, what's the requirement? I gotta be straight? Okay, well, I'm straight. It's kind of like that.
First of all, that's a fucked up requirement.
Well, sure, and it's not a requirement anymore, but it is what it is. I mean, if people need a job, they're gonna do whatever they gotta do. Look at the fucking Nickelodeon shit we just watched. Those kids. I
feel so bad for those kids.
Those kids wanted to probably do the job for their families, because they were probably...
It wasn't just that. It was also those kids wanted to follow... They had a dream. They wanted to follow that dream. They wanted to be actors. They wanted to be... Some of them, sure, wanted to be stars. Others of them just wanted to be actors. Sometimes that's just a dream. You want to entertain. You want to be entertaining. And when you think that what you're doing is like normal, and when the people around you normalize it to the point where you're the only one who has an issue with it, you start to think, oh, well, maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I just don't understand. Maybe I just have to get used to it. Like, you don't want to be the one who says, hey, I'm not cool with that, because then you become ostracized, you're the odd man out. Or they just fire you, in the case of certain people on that thing, they just fired them for being, the one female writer who had an issue and was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Oh, I know you're talking about. I
And
can't
then
remember
she
her name.
was like,
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not putting up with it
And then
anymore.
I think she got
And
cut
then
out the
she
business,
got
basically.
Basically fired.
Yeah, ostracized. Yeah, she got
Which
blacklisted,
is
basically.
horrible.
Yeah, it happens. But like that's why they don't say things when they know they should, is because they watch the consequences. They can see it. It's right in front of their faces. They go, well, this person did a certain thing that I want to do.
And that's why I get
and they got jacked up.
I get so frustrated I know so many people who clearly have always had the privilege of being able to just say the thing that bothers them. They've never felt that before. So I know, and a lot of the times it is, like me, straight white guys who just say, I can't believe you put up with it. If you were having this problem, why didn't you say something? Why didn't they? That's why they don't believe when somebody says something years and years later. They're like, well, why didn't you speak up then? It's like, because they were terrified of losing everything that they have.
I don't know. When someone asked me like who Dan Schneider is, I wouldn't say, oh, he's a straight white guy.
I mean, he was.
Well, sure, but like that wasn't his defining quality.
It wasn't. His defining qualities.
His defining quality was power and abuse of power.
Yes.
So, like, I'm not going to judge him for just being white.
From what I can tell from the beginning of the thing, it was very much, he was fat. He got made fun of his entire life for being fat.
That's a terrible assumption to make. But
they talk about it in the thing. Every show, everything he was on, because he wanted to act, he wanted to write.
Did you watch the shows?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch the shows.
Oh, dude. Oh no. I mean the
episodes?
I watched the documentary.
I was only like half paying attention.
Oh no, I watched the whole thing. I was riveted.
Oh man. So you caught more of it than me.
So
I guess this is a review of Quiet on the Set. Plot twist, everybody.
It took us a second.
Oh no.
No, we got to we finally found the thread. Yeah, jump to this point in the video if you want to hear a review of Quiet on Set.
If you
don't want to hear about our
spoilers
of our social. If you don't want to hear social commentary, skip to this point in the video so that you can hear about our point of view on Quiet on Set, the documentary from Max that just came out.
It's funny because there's spoilers of a show based on reality if we talk about it.
Is it spoilers?
I didn't know these things.
Well, so in the first
I knew about like the abandoned mindset. Well, everything I've seen about it was on YouTube.
So the first episode, it talks about Dan Schneider in the beginning of his career. He was an actor, and he was an actor first. He acted on a show called Head of the Class, I think.
I remember that. Yeah.
And basically, his role was the funny fat guy who's going to get made fun of for being fat. That was literally his entire purpose.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, that's got made fun of the entire time, and I think that creates a I'll show them I'm more than this. And I think that created a massive inferiority complex in him.
Yeah.
I'm not. By the way, I am not making excuses for the horrible shit that this man did.
Wait a minute, aren't you in the same group as him? Straight white males? You son of a bitch.
Yes, I am.
I'm just fucking around. No, he's a monster. He's not the same as you at all. He's just a totally different kind of person.
I could never treat people the way that it sounds like he treated people.
Yeah, no, I've never had his level of power. I'd like to hope that I wouldn't.
He also very clearly had this sense of humor of what can I get away with?
So
which is kind of fucked for kids TV.
Oh, we've not talked about this, have we? Oh no, I've had a lot of thoughts about this show because it tripped me out. So
wait, the documentary.
I've already. I'm sorry. Please continue with your stream of thought. I want to say. I've been talking with people about this a lot.
But it was very clear that once he got power, he wrote episodes of that show, and then he started writing. He started writing for Nickelodeon, different things, and then he was pitched a show that he was being in control of, which was All That. And then he ran with All That, and All That was a hit. And then he basically just, to his credit, and I hate him, he was a piece of shit, but to his credit, he made hit after hit after hit after hit for Nickelodeon. He was nailing it.
So here, I gotta speak on that, all right? Mm-hmm. So I feel there were certain, basically, I think he figured out the requirements of how to make a hit, and he was hitting those.
Yeah.
But I think what he didn't need to do is when he threw in all the sexual innuendo and type stuff. Yeah. I don't think he needed to do that because the kids didn't know what that stuff meant anyway, unless it was specifically for adults that knew what was going on.
Here's the thing. I think a fair amount of kids did understand it.
Everyone I've talked to
didn't catch it.
Didn't catch any of it.
I didn't.
So now 100%, nobody caught it.
To be fair, the
As
only
kids.
to be fair, the only Nickelodeon shows I remember that he had a hand in, I watched all that, and I watched Kenan and Kel, and I think I watched the Amanda Show.
Ooh, you know what? Hold on.
I did not watch like Drake and Josh or anything after that point.
I did catch certain things as a kid from the shows I watched, but I wasn't.
I do remember people talking about what was the one with Elizabeth Gillies? Was that Victorious?
I don't know.
I think it was Victorious. That one I remember.
That one was the cracked out show.
I remember
with all the crazy stuff, like dumb Ariana Grande and.
No, that was Sam and Cat.
No, she was. I think she was dumb in that one too, wasn't she? I watched a whole YouTube special about this.
No, I remember that
I'm pretty sure they kept having her play a dumb
Victorious
character.
always had the like sexual innuendos.
Oh, really?
Or like jokes about things. Because Elizabeth Gillies, like her whole character was just talking about sex things.
Wait, hold on. I have a question for you.
Sure.
All right, so you watch these shows. Mm-hmm. You didn't catch the sexual innuendo type stuff, but
I was just kidding.
Were you also? Well, hold on. So were you also like? What I can't think of the word, but you saw other stuff that's like for adults
At the time?
at the time.
Some, yeah.
Okay, so for me, thinking about it, I'm like,
Like
how
The
could kids
Simpsons,
not?
if that
Okay,
counts?
well, hear me out. I was like, wait, what do kids not understand? So I was like, what did I watch when I was a kid? Because I'm old, I'm 40 years old. I watched Saved by the Bell.
You're 40? Wild.
I just realized that too.
36.
We just both realized we're 40. I'm 40.
I'm not
You're
40.
36,
Don't
yeah.
put that evil on me.
We both realized it. I'm 40.
Oh, okay.
And this is about me this time.
Okay.
Anyway, so Saved by the
Everything's about
Bell.
you.
Saved by the Bell. There was a whole bunch of different Saved by the Bells. The very first one from the 80s. There was basically
90s.
kids. I was like probably 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Morris was like overly sexualizing Tiffany Amber Thiessen's Kelly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over sexualizing, hardcore,
100%.
and it was very obvious. It was on the nose.
It was overt,
And
yeah.
At the same time, I was also seeing like actual adult movies. They were I should not have been watching adult movies at 5 years old.
When you say adult movies, do you mean like rated R movies or do you mean like
Think
porn?
about like as an example,
Yeah.
something like Basic Instinct.
Yeah, as a child, you should not be watching.
You shouldn't be watching stuff like Basic Instinct. Now, obviously, that's just like a shot in the dark. I won't tell you what I've seen, but I saw my mom would rent like various movies,
Yeah.
and I watched them, and they jacked me up. I don't know why she did this. I wasn't asking for it. She would just rent something, and I would watch it, and it jacked me up pretty good.
Okay.
But like, I'm just saying, like, what's worse, from my experience, it's being introduced into things way too early. Not Nickelodeon shows that seem like they could still be for kids, but maybe just with hinting of stuff that I don't notice, or I just get shown adult things that I'm not ready for.
Yeah.
I think the adult things for me. Now, another thing about the Nickelodeon thing, right? So I think the fact that kids didn't know what was going on when they watched it,
Yeah.
good. I think the fact that kids were obviously being humiliated on purpose as a joke and also being exploited off camera as well, as I talk on the show, that's obviously wrong.
Well,
almost to the point where it's like, why even have kids
They talked
in
about
Hollywood at all?
They talked about it. Well, kids have always been in Hollywood.
Well, sure, except the fact that maybe like it's become so prevalent. There's always some kind of issue when there's kids.
It just makes me
stop
wonder,
having kids.
Well, it's Nickelodeon. And I wonder, was he successful because he geared the shows with more mature humor toward, like, with kids? Like, was it because he was using kids to tell mature jokes? And was that the reason he was getting?
I think he was enjoying getting away with what he was doing.
Oh, I think that was definitely. I think that was definitely a part of it, that he was enjoying getting away with it.
Also, I didn't know that Dan Schneider was just, well, supposedly I don't think anyone specifically said it. Or maybe like off the, I don't know. Supposedly people told me that he was having sex with kids.
I don't think. So
I don't think it's official.
Disclaimer: there has never been any evidence. I don't know who all said that.
A friend told me they heard that, so it's just a rumor.
So that's what I'm.
I don't know
we
if
didn't
he
hear
did.
that from any of the actual.
I don't know what happened.
There were 3 confirmed pedophiles.
I know there was
Brian Peck.
Brian Peck.
He's the one that we learned about. He was the pickle boy on all that, which is just.
We're not going to talk about that.
I don't want to.
That is crazy.
That's wild. And then there was, wow, the names are so unfortunate.
Oh no, what's
Jason
the next
Handy.
one? Peck, Handy, and Pickle Boy? That's what we got so far?
Pickle Boy was Brian Peck.
Well, I'm just saying, we got
Yes.
Peck.
Jason Handy. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You can't make
look,
this shit
man,
up.
I don't remember what the last one's name was. It wasn't good.
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
We'll just forget the rest of the
Oh
names.
boy.
So now we're going to take a moment of silence to try to just accept reality, because it's getting pretty hard because more and more stuff is coming to the surface.
It just feels like every single day something comes out about something that I enjoyed from my childhood that is just destroyed.
Well, like, it's, you know, we already know certain things.
Yeah.
So what's interesting, okay, it has to be like more messed up than what we already knew. And that's the stuff that's on the news or exposed through journalism, or victims speaking out. Finally, luckily, they get up the courage, which obviously sucks. You know, like, you don't want victims to have to like speak up and then get a target painted on their back. That's horrible, because they're already victims on top of that. But
one of my biggest pet peeves is victims of something getting treated horribly. Because people go, well, why didn't you? If it happened, why didn't you say it then?
Do they know consequences and how those consequences
work? And then
they
feel like people are just
I know people
scream about faking it. They're faking it. They're just trying to get money out of this person because no.
I know.
You know how hard it is to say something?
I know people personally.
You feel alone?
Like when they say something, the way to combat someone saying something is you try to make that person seem like a complete untrustworthy piece of shit.
Yeah.
You try to absolutely destroy their credibility publicly and amongst their peers.
Because you can't dispute what they said. You can't dispute what they said because...
Well, if you dispute the credibility, that's it. You win.
Yeah.
And you can come up with whatever lie or whatever, yeah. So hopefully victims know what they're getting themselves into. And I understand if victims don't speak out.
That's got to be
because
horrible.
what they're going to have to deal with. They deserve the most respect for, obviously. Now I still think there's victims, because I've caught people lying about being a victim about something because I caught them they weren't a victim.
The percentage of that is so low.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's just because some victims are lying and then they...
It doesn't negate the people who are.
But what sucks about that is that it's just basically the more they get caught lying. I'm not talking about like in the media. I'm talking about me personally.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not just like if victims are lying frequently all over the place, then people in general are just going to stop believing victims. So the victims that are lying are ruining it for everybody.
But it's frustrating because in 100 cases, maybe 3 of them will be lying. But those 3, for some people, is enough to say, see, oh, they're freaking lying. They can't trust them. How do I trust any of them? It's like, because you're an adult and you can look at like statistical numbers and say, it is so much more likely that they're being honest than they are lying. Like, first of all, what is the benefit?
Benefit of what?
What is the benefit of lying about it?
Well, so this is very interesting, actually.
Because you're just going to be a pariah either way.
No.
So like, what's...
So here's the thing, right? If it happened to you, there's no benefit. If it didn't happen to you, there is. The
only benefit is justice and maybe keeping it from happening to anybody else.
No, hear me out here, okay?
I've been hearing you out the whole time.
If it did happen to you, and you talk about it, you're going to have to live through your own nightmare.
Again, you have to relive it.
But the person that didn't happen to, they don't have to relive that nightmare because it didn't happen. So they're going to be able to say it just fine without any repercussions.
I guess so. It's just, I don't...
So it's opposite. The liar gets more benefit than the person telling the truth.
Here's the way I handle it. I believe you until if you are proven to be a liar, and at that point you have lost every shred of credibility, respect for me. But that being said, I'm still going to believe you first because it's too important not to.
I still believe people, but I'm just saying, like, so my outlook and my opinion is typically based into 2 separate things. I try to see my perspective and my opinion, but I also try to see other people's perspectives and why those perspectives have led to the certain opinions. So if people are like, yeah, I don't fucking believe them, they're fucking lying. Well, I could think like, well, that's just because they're fucking pieces of shit. Of course they think they're lying because they're bad people. Or maybe they've had certain things that happened to them that led them to that belief. And that's why I try to seek out those reasons. Like, why do people make their perspectives and opinions?
Most people that are pieces of shit have had trauma.
Yes, just like I said before,
it doesn't happen in a
vacuum. The most
defining
quality of challenges is trauma.
It doesn't happen in a vacuum. You don't just become a piece of shit out of nowhere.
You learn coping mechanisms that are oftentimes unhealthy.
We are so judgmental of people because a person who is difficult makes our life harder. And because of that, we just instantly dislike them no matter what. We don't try to get to know. We don't try to understand.
My family in California,
that bothers me that, like,
some of my family, they wanted my opinion, and I probably shouldn't have just said it, but I said my opinion, and now they just don't like me, they don't want to talk to me, and that's just the way it is. And I understand, but at the same time, like, I don't think that you need to just cut out a person if you don't agree with them. Like, I feel like if someone doesn't...
There's a difference between not agreeing with someone and their disagreement is like, it depends on the disagreement. If your disagreement is... If their disagreement with you invalidates you as a person or invalidates something about you, then I think that's something that's not like a we can get over this type of thing. That's a if you don't believe, if your beliefs or lack thereof make you think less of me, like, and if you're going to be like, well, I don't think of you as very much. I don't think of you as a person. So I'm either going to actively hate you and disrespect you and picket your fucking school or whatever, or I'm going to passively hate you and smile in your face while voting to like get rid of your rights, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So I think there is a spectrum of like what is and is not acceptable for someone to be in your life. Like if we just have a disagreement on like, I like cheese pizza and you like pepperoni.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I know, right? No, I like pepperoni too. I'm just making a point.
I don't trust you anymore.
All right, well.
I guess that's the end of the show.
I do like
pepperoni. I don't trust Eric anymore because he said his opinion and that hurt my feelings. So now that's it. I'm just messing around.
Yeah, clearly that's how relationships end.
We had a good run, a few years. We tried to rekindle our television personality relationship, and now it's dead. But you know what? Good riddance.
We should both be wearing suits.
Good riddance, because I'm wearing a tie-dye shirt on this first shirt. Yeah.
Hey, leave in the comments.
Remember we used to wear pajamas and we used to be in bed? It wasn't a bed.
It had lighting.
Guys, it was a couch. Ha! The veil ripped off, and it wasn't 3 a.m. Oftentimes it was like 6 p.m. or 4 p.m.
Literally,
it was a lie.
Was couch tomatoes.
And we stopped eating junk food after like the first time.
Yeah, because apparently that was distracting when we would just munch.
Yeah. Also, I was being told it was distracting for me to drink this beer. So
but
now
we said, fuck that. We're gonna drink anyway.
You're gonna hear me slurpy, and then wipe my mouth off.
Because he doesn't know how to drink beer.
I don't know how to drink beer. You know what? That's the trauma I've been through. Never got taught how to drink beer at an early age.
Well, it's not like you're pouring it on your face. I mean, you drink it like you drink anything.
Positivity. Silver Lining. Playbook is a good movie. That's going to be the next episode of Couch Tomatoes. Silver Lining Playbook. And what's that one?
Yeah.
Is that bipolar disorder? Bipolar disorder.
Why would we pick movies that came out recently? Why would we just do movies that came out 5 to 10 years ago?
Have you guys seen movies that come out recently? That's right.
Some of them
they
are bad.
oftentimes suck. They're really bad.
Well, when you don't make anything original and it seems like it's all sequels and prequels and remakes. What's funny is we were actually having this conversation earlier about remakes and how lots of movies are remakes. We just didn't know they were remakes. We didn't used to
because it's not like there's a freaking like asterisk. Actually, this is a remake, so you better judge it harshly.
Yeah.
No, people just don't like it when they fell in love with something and then something copies it.
Well, the only issue with it is that they're remaking stuff from like the 80s, and I think people have this like cognitive dissonance where it's like, the 80s, that wasn't that long ago. It was 40 years ago. 1984 was 40 years ago.
Well, the media kind of froze when the internet started. That's a whole conversation we can have because I learned a lot about that. But let's remake Splash. That shouldn't be offensive at all. An over-sexualized mermaid who's pretty much naked the whole time, and she just wants to fuck Tom Hanks. That's not problematic. Splash.
I think I could genuinely name any movie from the 80s and it's probably problematic.
Well, the thing is, like Splash, the movie I just talked about is problematic for various reasons. I love that movie. It's so good.
Any comedy from the 80s.
It's like a drama though. It's like a weird.
Is it?
It's a rom. It doesn't make any sense. It's like a rom-com for guys because it's like, hey guys, you love mermaids? You want to watch your like? It's kind of like Cruel Intentions. I thought Cruel Intentions was like a chick flick / rom-com. You watch Cruel Intentions? Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, like think about it. There's 2 young girls like making out in schoolgirl uniforms. There's Ryan Felipe tricking girls into having sex with them all the time. There's a weird sexual dynamic between him and his stepsister. Oh shit! Is that ever in porn? Yeah. So Cruel Intentions is basically like porn.
It's a porn.
Yeah, it's for guys.
It's a porn.
I thought it was a rom-com, and then I mentioned it to somebody at work, and they're like, "Cruel Intentions?
No,
Come
it's
on,
not a rom-com.
That's for guys." And I'm like, I thought about it, I was like, oh, it's not only for guys. It's like
it's for creepy guys.
It's well, it's got like a love story, but then like that doesn't go very well. Yes.
Oh.
Do you remember?
Oh yeah. I guess Ryan Felipe and Reese.
Well, Ryan Felipe is like, hey, I'm gonna manipulate you, an actual innocent person. I'm basically, it's kind of like a vampire and a virgin, basically. And then the vampire is Ryan Felipe. Freaking the Dracula is his stepsister because she's pulling all the strings.
Doesn't she die at the end?
No, somebody dies at the end.
Does Ryan Felipe?
None of you fuckers are gonna watch Cruel Intentions.
It's from 1997.
You motherfuckers.
If you haven't seen it, you're not gonna watch it.
So I'll tell you.
Nobody's gonna watch Cruel Intentions. Just spoil the fucking movie.
It's really good. Well, apparently it's only for creeps, so I'm a creep. Fuck. It's fine.
You're not a creep. You don't. It's fine. You didn't like it for those reasons.
So Ryan Felipe does. Well, I liked it for the making out, and I like the sexual stuff.
I'm not gonna say I haven't rewatched that scene.
I even saw the scene that made fun of it. Remember that old chick that makes, you know what I'm talking about?
Is that from Not Another Teen Movie?
It's from one of the million.
Not Another Teen Movie.
It's from one of the million parody movies.
Oh, stop it. We're brother and sister. Stop it. We're related only by blood.
How come every time I tell a guy he can put it wherever he sticks it in my head? I'm sorry. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
That's an actual quote from the movie. That's a girl who's naked literally the whole movie.
Chris Evans is in that movie.
Not Another Teen Movie?
Yeah. He's
really?
He's the lead.
Oh, that's right. He had the whipped cream on his chest.
And his dong.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And a cherry?
Yeah. I think it was banana. I think he had a banana split thing going on.
All right. I think this is good. Rough name is Fuck It Bucket. I don't know what the hell to call this thing.
We're not going to call it that. I don't think.
Probably shouldn't call it that. Probably something more family friendly. But this is obviously.
What was wrong with You're Invited?
That's still the name of my channel. This is my channel. This is my channel, guys. It's not Eric's channel. This is my channel. But he's the talent, like Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Sure.
I'm just young Neil.
That's actually hilarious. Yeah, I'm the talent, guys. Can't you tell?
Yeah,
Look how talented I am.
I'm young Neil.
I just talk.
When someone asked me,
Can't remember words.
What do you do? I say, oh, that's a big question. Legend of Zelda, Mario.
He says, what do you play?
Oh, is that what it was?
Because they're in the band.
Damn it. Oh, that's what it was. Thank you.
You're in the band? What do you play? Oh, man.
That's a big question.
Big question. Zelda, Tetris.
Yeah.
So much. It's a great movie.
If you haven't seen Scott Pilgrim.
That's actually a movie that I feel has aged well.
One of my best friends, Jordan Perrin.
Oh, the guy who used to...
It was like his least favorite movie when we watched it.
It's weird.
He watched it with me like out of pity or something. Like, my idiot friend Antonio wants to watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
How could you dislike it?
Well,
it's so funny.
No, but like, we have ADHD. I don't think he does.
Oh, we were just enamored with the colors?
Well,
Unless you want to watch On Golden Pond or some other old, dumb, terrible movie?
Well, yes, he likes the more, like, we have the ADHD brain. He's got the more, like, long-term, takes a long time to get reward brain.
He's willing to put in the work to get the reward.
Do you know who Jordan Perrin is?
Yes. It's interesting that you're name-dropping people on YouTube.
Well,
like, full name. Why don't you give his social security number while you're at it?
Do you want Jordan Perrin's social security number?
Do you know it?
Comment if you know Jordan Perrin's social security number. I'm too lazy to edit this. I already said his name. What should I? His name isn't Jordan Perrin. What is it? I already said his name was Eric Kosecki, and to send death threats to him.
Please stop.
I've already said that.
You didn't in this video.
If you don't know when I've said that, rewatch all of our videos. It's in one of them.
You tricky.
Which one could it be?
You tricky turd.
And then find it and then cancel us immediately.
Look how much older we are. Isn't that something? We've aged terribly.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that?
Look what time hath wrought.
Oh yeah, tell us how this new format is. We just don't care anymore.
If you
We're
want
lazy.
better lighting so that you
We're
can
just
actually
talking
see my
about
face.
whatever. A lot of you guys weren't watching this before because we worked together, but guess what? We don't work together anymore. He's over in a hole somewhere. I'm in a hole somewhere. No one even sees us anymore. So do we even exist anymore? Who knows?
That's the title. Two guys who don't exist. Are we real? Just call it "Are We Real?"
Two guys you've forgotten.
I like that.
That's sick. The whole channel. Two guys you forgot.
Put a yes at the in the comment if you like Two Guys You Forgot.
Please say something offensive in the comments.
Please don't.
Make sure you say, Antonio first. Hey, Antonio, and then say the offensive thing. Don't say, hey, Eric, and then do it. He won't like that very much. So don't do that.
Joke's on you, I don't read the comments.
Okay, now we're going to find out that the volume didn't record. Won't that be fun?
Oh, it's going to be great. You probably should have tested that first. Oh, well, let's see.